When you first stand in New York, you do one thing. Everyone does. You look up, and for a moment, you feel impossibly small. Not in a bad way. Small like you're standing in a forest of ancient redwoods, except these trees are made of glass and steel and ambition. They have stories etched into their skin, secrets whispered between their highest floors. And the question that hangs in the air, right there between the yellow cabs and the plumes of streetcar steam, is how? How did this happen? How does a flat, marshy island become this? A vertical metropolis, a dream cast in concrete. This isn't just a story about buildings. It's a story about us, about our relentless, sometimes reckless, need to build our mark on the world. Before the grid, before the concrete, there was something else. A land of rolling hills and gentle streams called Mannahatta. For thousands of years, the Lenape people lived in a landscape that breathed. They moved with the seasons. Their structures were temporary, made of bark and wood, designed to return to the earth. They understood the island as a live-in thing, and then we arrived. The Dutch came first, with their orderly mines and their gabled roofs huddled together at the southern tip of the island, a tiny European village clinging to the edge of a continent. Then the English, with their red brick and their Georgian sense of order. For 200 years, New York was a low-slung city. You could see the sky from almost anywhere. The tallest things were church steeples, humble fingers pointing upward, reminding everyone of a power greater than themselves. The city was built of wood and brick, vulnerable to fire, limited by gravity. It was growing, yes, but it was growing outward, sprawling, until it couldn't. An island, by its very nature, has an edge, a hard stop. And by the mid-1800s, New York was feeling it. People were pouring in from across the country, from across the ocean. The city was bursting. It had to find a new direction to grow, and so it looked up. The first attempts were beautiful, but heavy. This was the brownstone era. Entire neighborhoods carved from quarries rose in elegant four-story rows. They were solid, dependable. They felt permanent. It was the city learning to stand on its own 2 feet. But stone can only go so high. To build a tower of solid rock is to build a mountain. It's impractical. It's impossible. The city had hit a wall, a vertical wall. And then everything changed. It wasn't a politician or a banker who changed it. It was an idea. 2 ideas, actually. The first was the skeleton. Imagine a building not as a stack of heavy bricks, but as a body. Inside, a hidden skeleton of steel, strong and light, bears all the weight. The outer walls, the stone and glass, they're just the skin. They don't have to hold anything up. This invention, the steel frame, meant a building could be impossibly tall and impossibly light. But a 10, 20, 30-story building is useless if you have to walk up. Which brings us to the second idea, the safety elevator, the city's new circulatory system. Elisha Otis, demonstrating his invention by cutting the rope and not plummeting to his death, didn't just sell a machine. He sold trust. He sold the future. The skeleton and the elevator, the bones and the blood. With those 2 things, New York was no longer a city. It was a life form, ready for a new stage of evolution. What followed was a kind of madness, a beautiful, glorious architectural fever dream. The Roaring Twenties. The city wasn't just building towers, it was sculpting them. Look at the Woolworth Building, a cathedral of commerce, clad in Gothic terracotta, a palace for a 5 and dime empire. And then came the Great Race, a rivalry so personal it was etched into the sky itself. Walter Chrysler, the automobile magnate, was building his monument, a shimmering Art Deco jewel. Across town, his old rival, financing the Empire State Building, was building theirs. The race was for the title of world's tallest building. As the Chrysler Building neared completion, it seemed it would fall just short. The world watched, and then, in a stunning, almost theatrical twist, a secret spire, assembled in pieces inside the building's dome, was hoisted up through the top in just 90 minutes. It was a needle-thin argument against the sky. Walter Chrysler had won for about 11 months, because the Empire State Building, born from that same rivalry, but fueled by the desperation of the Great Depression, just kept going, rising at a dizzying pace of 4.5 stories a week. It was a symbol not of prosperity, but of defiance. Even as the world's economy crumbled, New York kept building, kept dreaming, kept reaching. But dreams change. After the war, the romance of Art Deco felt frivolous. A new philosophy arrived, one of stark honesty. The international style, glass boxes, unadorned. The idea, championed by architects like Mr. Ronderoy, was that a building should show you exactly what it is. Steel is steel, glass is glass, no secrets, no stories, just function. The Seagram Building on Park Avenue is the perfect somber masterpiece of this era. It's elegant, it's pure, and it's cold. For decades, this became the new language of the city. Corporate, anonymous, efficient. The skyline became a spreadsheet. We lost something in those years. The building stopped telling us stories about who we wanted to be and started telling us what we had to do, work. And today you stand on a street corner and you can see it all at once. It's a dizzying, beautiful mess. A 19th century brownstone is reflected in the face of a 21st century glass super tower. An Art Deco spire is crowded by a functional office block. The city is a palimpsest, a document that has been written on, erased, and written on again for 400 years. Every generation leaves its mark, its hopes, its fears, its ego. The Dutch need for a port, the Victorian need for ornament, the modernist need for logic. Our need today for what? Unimaginable luxury? Maximum profit? I often wonder what the buildings we're putting up right now will say about us 100 years from now, when the gloss wears off and all that's left is the shape, the silhouette against the dusk. Because that's the thing you realize after you've been here a while. The city isn't just something you look at. It looks back at you. It asks you questions. It dares you to add your own line to the page. The story of New York's architecture is the story of a conversation between the earth and the sky. A story of human hands shaping and reshaping a tiny piece of rock, trying to build something that will last. Something that says, we were here. The skyline isn't a monument to what we built. It's a testament to who we were and who we are still trying to become.